What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, joined by the one, the only Kevin Olenek. We are here for our first recap of the new era on the Bottom Line View. We've yet to really announce this officially, but this channel has become an NFL-only channel.
Only NFL.
Only NFL, a channel that is going to be NFL, eat, sleep, and shit NFL 24/7, every video, every day, everything you need to know about the NFL, the ins and outs, the fantasy, the betting, the news, the topic videos, everything NFL. Okay, we have some plans in place for sister channels of this channel to take part in NHL content, maybe eventually wrestling content. We'll see how this all goes and how the experiment goes. But we figured, we had a long talk today, that the best direction for this channel would be to ultimately go with an NFL only channel, because that is that is what we do best on this channel. We figured that is where our biggest fan base lies, and that's what we're the most passionate about, and that's where we really want to center our whole focus of this channel around. So that being said, this is going to be the first recap. Seahawks, Cardinals. Kev's team is going to be honored in this first recap. Thursday Night Football, 22-16. The Seahawks win it over the Cardinals. This was a huge game. Many people weren't really treating it that way, but the records really did say that this was a huge game. Coming in, the Cardinals were 4-4. Coming in, the Seahawks were 5-3. So if you take that into account, the Seahawks, if they would have lost, would have been 5-4, and the Cardinals would have been 5-4. Now the Cardinals are 4-5. The Seahawks are 6-3. So they buy a little bit more space between second and third. They're still trailing the Rams, but they're still in the conversation for the wild card position, and they're still in the fight for the division. There were a lot of injuries that happened. We'll discuss all that stuff, and we'll get to the Seahawk homer perspective here from Kevel. Kevel, what did you think of your team's performance tonight? What did you think of the game, entertainment-wise, and also any questions that are left unanswered about this Seahawks team? Did you get those answered or what?
Well, let's first of all start with this. Richie Incognito blew up last week about playing on Thursday night. And if the NFL needs another perspective as to why Thursday Night Football is not good, they should look at this game, because there were 6 Seahawks that went out. And there were a bunch of Cardinals that went out. And this game took 3 hours and 40 minutes to play because of the amount of injuries that happened. Russell Wilson went under the tent. My gosh, I was worried you were going to under the tent. Or Walt Anderson would have thrown a flag for just, "Hi, I'm Walt Anderson. I'm here at the game and we need to throw a flag. I know that Justin Coleman didn't touch anyone, but hi, I'm Walt Anderson and I'm here to touch the game." It was too long. And this is so let's get out of the way. You may not like how Incognito did that, but I think that he's got a point, and the players have a point. In terms of the game, it was okay. I think the defense was on the field far too long, especially in the second half. There were a few times where I felt that the Seahawks offense, especially when they had the 2-touchdown lead, a couple of first downs would have really helped to kill off the clock. They weren't able to do that. We still don't have a running game of any. I thought McKissick was okay. Russell Wilson did ballet, pirouette to get a touchdown. Wilson,
We'll talk about that touchdown.
Jimmy Graham was effective. The defense is outstanding, and I know you're probably going to critique the defense, but I think the defense was solid. And let me just say this. I rail on the Arizona Cardinals a lot, and I'm going to explain why to the 9. There are 9 Arizona Cardinals fans out there. I counted them all, and I'll just rail why. This team built itself to specifically beat one team in the NFL, and that was the Seattle Seahawks. They got old. They got crotchety, they're stale, and Larry Fitzgerald
Kev, I need to cut you off right there, and I need to argue with you. Okay, their quarterback is out. Their best
quarterback
player is out.
Their quarterback is still not good, and
Their best player is out. One of their best pass rushers is out. Their offensive lineman is out.
They still built this team to beat the Seattle Seahawks. And if you look
without David Johnson, they're not beating nobody.
I know, but they've set this team up to beat the Seattle Seahawks. They felt that if they could beat the Seahawks, they were all in. And if they would have, not David Johnson, if they would have went a different direction in quarterback and not Carson Palmer, you wonder where this team would be. I'm just saying, I think they got old. They got old trying to beat the Seattle Seahawks.
On offense, they got old.
They did. And that's where, hey,
the Cardinals might not beat the Seahawks right now, but I think a lot of teams are going to beat these Seahawks, bro.
Well, we'll see about that.
These Seahawks are delicate. These Seahawks have a broken wing. These Seahawks gotta play.
We don't have a broken wing.
They gotta play the Eagles. They gotta play the Falcons. They gotta play the Rams. They gotta play the Cowboys. When Zeke comes back, they gotta play the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. This team is gonna get beat up, Kevil.
I don't think we're going to get beat up. I think that this is great. I love the fact that we're playing good teams, because when we play good teams, we have been shown to play the level of the teams. So I'm not, it's a tough schedule. I'm not going to say it's an easy schedule, but I like the fact we're playing tough teams. It will make us a tougher team heading into the playoffs.
So you're confident enough to say that this team is going to make the playoffs without Richard Sherman. Looks like Richard Sherman's done.
We don't know how long he's out.
Earl Thomas is hurt. Cam Chancellor left the game.
He should be done.
Another bunch of injuries that happened.
Yes, there was a ton of injuries. There's no question about that. Dwayne Brown went down. Sheldon Richardson went down. Frank Clark went down. Mike Wilhite went down. I'm not entirely.
They can't get away from the yellow flag. They can't block.
We can talk.
They can't run the ball.
Yeah, there's some issues.
The defense isn't as good as it used to be. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about? Seriously. What are you
They played the Arizona Cardinals.
No, come on, Mitch. Come on.
Did you see how many throws Drew Stanton missed?
Well,
did you see how many throws he missed?
There was some terrible. Drew Stanton is not a primetime quarterback. I understand that. Drew Stanton's no Kirk Cousins. But I think that this...
And they lost to Kirk Cousins.
We lost the catch of the year. And they only had... Here's the thing.
They should have lost to the Texans.
The Seattle Seahawks have outscored their opponents in the fourth quarter 86-41, by the way, in the fourth quarter.
You guys have beat one good team this season. One.
So you college rank this and say, and we get into this all the time.
One.
You college rank this and say, well, you only beat one good team. We're 6-3. We had the opponents in front of us that we had to play.
And you lost 3 games.
And we won 6. That's 60%. The only team that has lost less than 2 games is the Philadelphia Eagles. Mitch Villani. The New England Patriots, who we're talking about 16-0, have lost a couple of games. So what I'm saying,
but they actually played good teams. There's a difference.
We've played some good teams too.
Okay. You've beat on the poop of the league, all right? You beat the 49ers 12-9 in an exhilarating contest.
It was very exhilarating. I was exhilarated.
Which, by the way, you were losing at halftime in that game.
And we came back and won. Yeah.
You beat the Cardinals. You beat the G-men who don't know how to defend a 30-yard screen. And you beat Deshaun Watson Texans.
Yep.
On a miracle.
Hey, it's a miracle as a miracle.
You lost to the Packers, Titans, and Redskins.
Yep, we have.
So you have lost to 3 of the 4 teams that could go to the playoffs on your schedule.
Yep, we've lost to some teams, but you know what?
So I'm reserving judgment for this team when they play
No. You're not even reserving judgment.
Okay, if Sherman,
hey, this team is a lower rated team.
If Sherman is out, they're done. I'm sorry, they're done.
I don't think they're done, but it's a huge loss. I would agree with you. It's a huge loss. I'm not going to say that what happened today with the 6 injuries is going to be helping us in any way, shape, or form, but I'm not going to eliminate them from the playoffs.
These 4 games: Eagles, Jaguars, Rams, Cowboys. They play them all in a row. That is the test. That is the road.
And Monday night, that's the murderer's row. Yep, I'm not disputing that. But if you come out of that in this, 3-2, we're still 9-5, which is not bad. I mean, there's a possible. I'm not going to lie. There's a chance we're going to lose some games here. I'm not saying we're running the table. This is going to be tough. But
you did get a break today because Zeke Elliott just got suspended.
Yeah, but he comes back against us.
Yeah, but they may lose some games in the process because they lost him.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. I don't know. I mean, I'll let Dylan speak for the Cowboys. I don't think they're going to go 0-6. But this is where we're going to see if where Dak Prescott is,
and this defense.
And this defense is, and I mean, I don't think that to me right now, there are 2 teams ahead of everybody else. That is the Eagles and, to me, the Saints. I think everybody else is in this myriad of in the 3rd level, and I don't see that the Seahawks are dead because I don't necessarily see any other team jumping up other than the Eagles and Saints saying, okay, I'm
not saying they're dead, but I'm saying they're in trouble.
These injuries are not going to help, for sure. And it's the Brown loss was probably the biggest one because the Cardinals were...
How serious was that injury?
They were hoping to have him back, but they were not sure. So I think that they'll have to evaluate him. I think my sense would be because we play Monday night, he should be back. I sense Richardson should be back Monday night. Clark, I don't know. Thomas, probably, from what I understand. Sherman, that sounds like it's at least 3 weeks.
Okay.
From what? Yeah.
I did take some notes for this game.
Oh, that's good of you.
Yes, and I legitimately took some notes. See?
That's nice.
My Batman notebook.
Batman notebook. Hashtag right. Batman. By the way, are we going to review Justice League on my podcast?
Yes, for sure. Okay. Okay, so I have some notes. I'll go through my notebook. This will now become a thing. This will be a part of the show. Mitch's notebook, okay?
Mitch's notebook.
Okay. So,
should we all have a notebook?
My first note, if you want, my first note is 2 3-and-outs early for the Hawks offense, 6 plays, -5 yards. Not a good way to start the game. This allowed, the Cardinals to get in the game, but they couldn't really capitalize on it. Adrian Peterson fumbled, which brings me to the point once again. Everybody forgets the biggest game in Adrian Peterson's career, fumbled 3 times. It wasn't all Brett Favre's fault. Anyways. Okay. Drew Stanton.
Why do you play this? This is. Let's even go back to Sunday. How do you not sit him down, knowing that you're going to play him Thursday? How do you let this guy run 37 times?
He clearly wasn't the same running back today, even though he played a better defense, and we thought it would be tough for him to run. I don't know why you were running him 37 times when you have a game on Thursday and you know that the only way you're going to win is you're going to have to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It makes no sense. And I was saying coming into this game, if you have him in fantasy, first off, don't start him because he's not going to do anything. Second, okay, this team is not they're going to want to run the ball and they're not going to be able to because he's just too old. He can't do 37 carries on Sunday and then 30 on Thursday. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. This is another argument against Thursday Night Football. If you're you're one of the 9 Arizona Cardinals.
I think it's stupid. I agree with Mr. Incognito. Drew Stanton is 7-3 or 7-4 now as a starter. I thought that was pretty impressive. I know that he isn't a good quarterback because I've seen him win some of those games and they weren't exactly impressive, but that's still pretty good. I noticed
in the first half.
I noticed that the Hawks early in this game, especially, they crowded the line of scrimmage, and we saw this when the Cardinals needed to throw the ball deep. They couldn't do it because Drew Stanton was throwing the ball out of bounds. The Seahawks had their safeties in the box. They're crowding the line. They were stopping the run, and Drew Stanton's throwing the ball 15 yards to the left out of bounds in the sideline. The guy was open, couldn't hit him. Okay, that was by design because the Hawks knew that he couldn't throw the ball over their head. So that's good for the Hawks, bad for the Cardinals. He did make a couple of big throws in this game on third down, so you got to give him credit for that, especially to Larry Fitzgerald, who seemed uncoverable for a portion of this game.
Especially
I believe who was covering him. I believe there are a couple of different people that were covering him because they couldn't really exactly figure out who could cover him in this game.
Coleman was for a while, and then it was Shaq, and it depended kind of where Fitzgerald was because they had him everywhere. Can we just say, like, I know I rail on the Cardinals. I know I hate the Cardinals, but Larry Fitzgerald is an honest-to-goodness beast. If this guy was actually on an offense, can you imagine? Like, seriously.
I know. Why did you think I wanted the number one player I wanted the Patriots to get was Larry Fitzgerald?
Well, I know you were looking for that, but they're too stubborn.
I know, but this thing is, Larry Fitzgerald is so difficult, even at this age, to cover in the slot, because usually slot corners are small and quick, and Fitzgerald is like really savvy, but he's like huge. So, and this happened because Justin Coleman was the Patriots corner last year in week 1 when they played the Cardinals, and they couldn't cover freaking Fitzgerald for life. I mean, this guy was just open every play because he's just too big for Coleman. Like they had to try. The Seahawks eventually figured something out, I guess. But like it got to the point where like every completion was to Fitzgerald in this game. So just wanted to shout out Fitzgerald. He had a good game. DJ Humphries was injured in this game for the Cardinals, tackle. I don't remember if he got back in the game, but he was hurt early in the game and it looked pretty serious. Bradley McDougall is starting for Earl Thomas. What did you think of his play today?
He was very solid.
He had that big play at the end of the game.
Yep, he was very solid. He is not Earl Thomas because nobody is Earl Thomas, but he was sure that I can't even remember who they had when Thomas was out last year. Do you remember the guy's name? But you could just throw over the middle was like a convenience. It was just wonderful for offenses.
I don't
remember that guy's name, but McDougall is a much better replacement to Earl Thomas. He's not Earl Thomas at all, but he's better than what we had last year.
The Jimmy Graham first touchdown, which was almost the same as the second touchdown, one-on-one with Tavon Branch, who's a smaller safety. It was an easy throw, easy catch. They should do that more. I don't know why they didn't.
I think what the things that I will give Darrell Bevel for is finding a way to get Jimmy Graham more involved in the offense, like finding better matchups for Jimmy Graham to be involved.
Well, this was one-on-one man coverage. Nobody helping him. He just basically out-physicaled him and caught the ball, and it was a nice pass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they should do that more. I just think, like, especially in the red zone, I know that Jimmy Graham isn't always going to be your go-to guy on third down, but especially in the red zone, man, you need to use that guy. And I think they did in this game, and they have been lately. I think he has, like, 5 or 6 touchdowns the last 4 games?
Yep.
So that's getting better. There was a terrible throw by Stanton on a third down, but then there was a penalty. So this was the drive where they had 4 first downs because of penalties.
Yeah, this was in the first half.
Okay. Yeah, this was in the first half. How do you feel about the Seahawks penalties?
They're not good, but there was a couple of them that I have to. The Coleman one was ridiculous. That I don't know where that was, but you know I'm not going to get. I didn't think the officiating was great on both sides tonight. But I also don't like 30 accepted penalties in 2 games. That's on the Seahawks. The frustration to me is still the false starts. It wasn't loud. I don't understand why Mike Tobin had to move. Like, it was not loud in the building. It was as loud as this, maybe louder, maybe. But it was a pretty Seahawk crowd, so we were quiet on off. So I didn't understand that. They calmed it down a bit though in the second half. It wasn't so bad, but the defense was on the field way too long. Way too long. Way too long.
They did make a big play, though, the defense. They had that safety. KJ Wright and Cam Chancellor made the play.
Yep.
That was a big play in the game, obviously. Whenever you get a safety, it's kind of like a game-changing play because not only do you get the 2 points, but you also get the ball in a pretty good position. And at that point in the game, the Seahawks were trying to figure out, like, field position and stuff. That was a pretty big play there. And, again, Adrian Peterson, 5 yards in the end zone, and they decide to hand it off to him. Yeah, that's probably not a good play. What else we got here? I felt like, okay, this worked out for you guys on one play in the game. But Russell Wilson held onto the ball way too long in this game.
He did. Yes, he did. He needed to, but when he was quickly throwing it out, it was working.
Yeah, it was working. Like, the quick passing game was working. But I felt like the Cardinals did a kind of a hybrid of they were blitzing and rushing, but they weren't exactly – they were still trying to contain him within the pocket. And a couple of times he was running around and he would try and go through the middle and he would kind of just get sacked. I thought that a lot to do with the Cardinals' coverage too, I think was pretty strong overall. Their 3 combo safeties were really effective early in the game, but Branch had to leave the game. I think Budda Baker is a pretty nice young player. I think he's going to be a good player. But yeah, Wilson, I thought, just held on the ball too long. And definitely, I think the quick passing game, whenever I've seen the Seahawks kind of clicking, it's been through the quick passing game this year. I don't know if, like, why they don't do that more. Is there, like, I don't get it. I don't know. As you said, Brown left the game with an injury. Yeah. They had that amazingly fluky Russell Wilson play. Okay, this is the line, okay? There's a line. I tweeted this. A terrible pass and a great, phenomenal play. And Russell Wilson was right in the middle. This could have been intercepted. He could have been sacked. It could have been a ridiculous fumble. I don't know. But for somehow, some reason, there was no Cardinal in the area covering Doug Baldwin. He was blocking on the play, gets a release. Russell Wilson throws it what looks like over his head backwards, doesn't even look.
It's pirouette. It's ballet.
And complete, and it was the biggest play of the game. I mean, I got to give him credit, but at the same time, from a traditional standpoint, that was terrible. So I don't really know where to, like, give this, like, a grade, but it was the biggest play in the game.
Yeah, it was one of the turning points, and then getting the touchdown. Yeah, I would agree that was the turning point, and it's just Russell does that sometimes, and it works out. I don't think he was all that outstanding tonight, to be honest with you. I don't think that he necessarily got a lot of Sunday out of the way, but he made it work there, which is fine. But I would rather him be a bit more traditional. But he was running around for God. Even on that play, though, had another place to go. I was sorry, I was a little distracted because I got a question from Adam in the DMs. He's not.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, but the barely beat the Cardinals. What did the Eagles do against the Cards?
So yeah, AC is kind of starting to turn on everyone. He's starting to take this not the high road. He's starting to be the dick road here. He's starting to take the I'm better than everybody 8-1 Eagles route here. He's the Eagles beat the crap out of the Cardinals is what he's trying to say, and the Seahawks could barely beat them. How do you feel about that, Kev?
Well, I don't know if it was a barely beat. It was a beat. And considering the amount of injuries that happened today, and considering the fact that, I mean, I guess my response is we had 4 days to prepare for the Cardinals. Eagles had 7. I mean, I think that that's an interesting advantage. And we had a heck of a lot of injuries. We, like, a lot of injuries. So I think that this was a gutsy performance. I think that the Seahawks are better than the Eagles are better than the Seahawks. We'll have to see when they play because every game is different, So I would acknowledge,
well, that's Mitch's notebook right there. Mitch's notebook debuts, and that's the first of Mitch's notebook.
That's fair. That's fair.
Let's get to the stats. Can we get to the stats?
Sure. Now, is Actor going to be allowed to be on this channel?
Yes.
Okay, Actor. Yeah, okay, because he was concerned.
Oh, okay.
He was
Actor is a member of the channel.
Actor is the member of the Bottom Line View.
Yes. Okay, the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson passing 22 for 32, 238, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 5 times. We touched on his performance. Again, reiterating it. Thought he held onto the ball a little bit too long, but he made some nice plays in the game, as he always does. Quick passing game was working better than anything. He had a nice connection in the red zone with Jimmy Graham. 2 basically on the exact same play. And, he did his thing, I guess. He made enough plays to win this game. The Cardinals, Drew Stanton, 24 for 47, 273, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, 2 sacks. It's not a terrible stat line by any means, but if you watch this game, he missed a number of receivers. He did make a couple of plays avoiding people, which was nice, but a lot of them came off of holding calls that were called back, so that was not good. Kind of forced the ball sometimes. He took his first read in a couple of big plays in the game, like that last one with the post down the middle, and he kind of forced that. He kind of figured out near the end of the game that Larry Fitzgerald's kind of good, so he started passing him the ball. Yeah. That was a good idea. He had his moments, but he is a backup quarterback, and that's what you're going to get from a backup. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think that he's okay, but this is, I guess, my ultimate criticism. It's not about Drew Stanton. This is about the choice. I guess you got to ask, if you're one of the 9 Arizona Cardinal fans, why not Patrick Mahomes? Why do you not get involved in that? Like, I understand that Budda Baker will be good.
Or Deshaun.
Yeah. It's easy to harp on the Browns for not getting Watson, for not picking Watson, but the Chiefs jumped in there and got Mahomes, and I think they're going to be set for a while. The Cardinals didn't, and I think that that's going to hurt him. Like, not that it's not that Drew Stanton is awful. He is probably in the top 10 of backups, but if you're going with him next year and you have this quarterback draft, they won't go. Yeah, I know, but they don't have enough to really move up in this draft to get one of the so-called great ones, and this draft isn't looking that great. So it's another thing where they put themselves all in, and the Rams passed them, and I would argue not this year, but I think the 49ers are probably a little bit ahead of them in terms of rebuild.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Like, in terms of rebuild.
That's
because
debatable.
what the 49ers...
Cardinals still have a lot more talent than the 49ers do, so...
Right, but you could have traded a Larry Fitzgerald to a team and gotten something back. I wonder if the Cardinals should have maybe stripped the team a la 49ers and rebuild this.
I think they need to now. And I think your buddy Bruce Arians, even though I think he's a good coach, I think he's going to be on the way out for this rebuild because I don't think he's going to be sticking around. And I think he'll go to a team where he can actually, win with, and I think he will win personally, but we'll see. The running games for both sides, 10 carries, 27 yards for Thomas Rawls, 5 carries, 26 yards for McKissick. Now, 5 for 19 for Russell Wilson, 3 for 3 for Process. This is the first Process action I've seen all year.
And guess what? He left the game with an injury.
Adrian Peterson, 21 attempts, 29 yards, 1.4 yards per carry. 2 carries, 4 yards for Andre Ellington, 1 carry for 1 yard for Drew Stanton. Terrible running game for both sides. Thomas Rawls is better than Eddie Lacy, but that's as far as I'm going to go. McKissick is like the pass catching back, splitting with Procise when he's actually on the field. But
I think McKissick's better than Procise. I know you're going to disagree, but
I haven't seen Procise play in like a year and a half, so I can't really argue, to be honest.
Like, he had the one good game against you guys, but he keeps getting injured.
He gets injured every time, so I can't say anything. Yeah, that's it. Ellington had a touchdown. The running game sucked. Okay. Yeah. Seattle Seahawks receiver.
Of all the things that I am super concerned about for the Seahawks, it is this running game, because that's where they will need it more.
I would agree with that. I think that's their number one flaw.
Yeah.
Doug Baldwin, 5 receptions, 95 yards. He had that huge play in the game. He made a couple other nice plays. But like Doug Baldwin, you kind of just like, he makes some plays every once in a while, but usually, for myself at least, I look at the stats. I'm like, oh, Doug Baldwin actually had 95 yards. I don't remember that.
You don't. Yeah, I know. That's the secret of Baldwin, is he doesn't do anything spectacular. You're like, Doug Baldwin. Well, Doug Baldwin. And then he comes up with a key catch.
Yeah, it's not like a receiver like Landry where it's like, oh, yeah, he caught like 14 passes in this game. Or it's not like Odell where it's like he caught 6, but like 3 of them were for like 30 yards. So, like, Doug Baldwin is just kind of like, oh, he caught that, like, comeback pass for, like, 25 yards and Russell Wilson scramble that play. Yeah. And then he did this, and then he did that. Yeah, so good receiver, just weird. Richardson, 1 catch for 43 yards. As always, made 1 amazing catch. Jimmy Graham, 6 catches, leading the team. 27 yards, which is weird. 2 touchdowns, but I do like what they've been doing with him in the red zone, so that's a positive. And then a bunch of other guys with a couple of catches. McKissick did have 4 catches for 20 yards. Who's this Vanette guy?
Nick Vanette's another tight end.
Never heard of him.
He made a catch.
Okay. 2 for 22. Lockett, 1 for 16. Rawls, 2 for 12. Darbo, 1 for 3.
Yeah.
Arizona, 10 catches for Fitz for 113 yards. A lot of them came in the second half. Fourth quarter. Jermaine Gresham had a good game. Probably his best game I've seen him play in a long time. 5 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. Sadly, I actually played him somehow in fantasy. Somebody actually started this guy, which is amazing. But yeah, that sucks. 5 catches, 64 yards, a touchdown. Had a good game. I can never differentiate. Okay, so John Brown, 2 catches, 27 yards. Jaron Brown, 2 catches, 13 yards. JJ Nelson, 1 for 17. When you're watching these guys, they look exactly the same. They are the exact same player, basically.
Yeah.
John Brown had a huge season a couple years ago, but he's had a lot of health issues, and he's never really been the same player. Andre Ellington, who I'm still kind of a fan of as a receiving back, 3 catches, 26 yards. That's it. Adrian Peterson, 1 for 13.
Yeah.
Defensively, Seahawks, they got that safety. Chancellor was huge in this game, obviously with the injuries. I had 9 tackles total. KJ Wright, 9 tackles. I thought he had a pretty good game. He did miss on a couple tackles on Peterson, though, and they spotlighted that. Wagner played a typical good game. 8 tackles, 3 assists. Sherman, when he was in there, had 4 tackles. Bennett had 3 tackles, was kind of quiet. I mean, he had maybe 1 or 2 plays that he kind of disrupted. They only what'd you think of that? Well, they had 2. It says 2 sacks here. I thought they had more than that, but
they were in the backfield a lot. But they
Nasir Jones was one of them that got a sack. And also Dion Jordan.
Yes, can we applaud Dion Jordan? First game back in over a year, and he gets a sack.
You know who's been really good for you guys? And you said, I don't know why they're signing him. Dwight Freeney.
Yeah, he's been good. I will agree with you there. They've used him very well. I had to process that because I thought he was 906 years old, but he's only,
And he is.
yeah, no, he's 801, I think. But Nazir Jones, though, like, no, he doesn't get a lot of love, but that guy has been disruptive in the middle. He's been really good. I've enjoyed him. And I think Bobby Wagner has been outstanding in the last 2 games. Outstanding.
Buchanan had 6 tackles for Cardinals. Baker, 6 tackles as well, taking a bigger role in this game because of the injury. Matthew, I thought, was flying all over the place. He missed a sack on Wilson, though, early in the game. Bethea, 1 sack. Pierre, 1 sack. Rucker, 1 sack. Jones had a sack. Typical Chandler Jones. Reddick, 1 sack.
Am I misunderstanding that? Did he leave the game?
Chandler Jones?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't think he did, but I mean, so many people did. So,
I don't know if anyone really like this. The safeties I thought were good.
Reddick left the game. Yeah.
Overall, the Cardinals defense was good. I mean, it wasn't bad at all.
No, they played okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Those are the stats. Anything else to discuss here, or should we get to the comments?
Yeah, I think this is, I think for me, the thing is, we need to see what the injury report is before I'm going to start crying or panicking. It's going to be.
I'm telling you, bro, Seahawks are done.
I'm not saying that or anything.
Not done, but okay. I keep saying done. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. 2 words.
Well, we'll have to see what about the injury report, and we'll have to see about other things before I say that. But the thing that made me at least the most relieved is Blair Walsh got back on the field.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think that was a positive. We needed that big time. Because the reality is, even if he hits 1 last week and we get 1 of those 2-point conversions, we win the game. And that's,
Yeah. All right, let's get to the comments section. Training Solutions says, I saw the new banner. I like it. Oh, thank you.
There we go.
I made it myself. Bodo says, congrats, Kevo.
Thank you.
Training Solutions says, congrats, hot, kind of. Jollywood says, go Hawks. Bodo says, how many people thought they had a fantasy steal by picking up AP? Well, he's had a couple of games. Jollywood
game.
Yeah, 2 really good games. That's it. Jollywood.
Actually, I would argue that the fantasy steal has been anyone that's been able to get Alvin Kamara.
Me.
Yeah, my opponent last week in another fantasy league. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, it was if you picked up Adrian Peterson not in the draft, but when he got released because he left the Saints, then that was probably a pretty good pickup. Jollywood said 6-3 Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor are playing next week, apparently, and Richard Sherman is out for 2 to 3 weeks, says Jollywood. I don't know where he got this information.
I would be curious where he got
clarification. As Training Solution is arguing with him.
Okay.
Bodo said the problem is Kevel Thursday nights are bringing $2 billion a year. The players and the owners aren't willing to take that pay cut. I think the players definitely are. It's about
the players are more than willing to take that pay cut. We're seeing worse football because of Thursdays. We're seeing more injuries because of Thursdays. Really.
Jollywood says that Griffin is playing really good.
Yes, Shaq Griffin is playing very well. He did not play very well on the Dotson play last week. He got beat there.
And Training Solutions, I need to correct you. It's not torn ACL they're worried about. Oh, wait. They read... no, it's not torn ACL they're worried about. It's torn Achilles. That's what they're worried about. Jollywood thinks that they're going to beat the Rams, Jaguars, and Falcons. What else here?
I'm not convinced that Dallas is in trouble this week with playing Atlanta without Zeke.
Oh, I think they are. But if Bodo is right, he says Zeke will be back by Friday at 5 p.m.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then probably suspended Saturday at 2. And then re-upped at Saturday at 4.
Predator randomly says, I'm the Flash.
Oh, that's nice.
F. DeAndre says, Seahawks going to Super Bowl 52. They still have Russell Wilson, a good defense, and a pray for Richard Sherman. Cody says, I got the Hawks going 12-4, losing to the Eagles.
The Eagles are favored. I'll say that.
Training Solution says, I have 10-6 because of the injuries, lost to the Rams and the Eagles, and some upset, he says. Predator says, a better team would have beaten the Seahawks.
Okay, there is a confirm that he suffered a ruptured Achilles, according to Bleacher Report.
Well, he's out for at least a year.
Yeah, if that's...
That, to put that into context for people that don't exactly know how painful that is, Kobe Bryant did that. And that ended his career, basically. So. But I don't think that's going to end his career. I just think he's going to be out for a year. He's probably going to be out until like the end of training camp next year. I would not be
well, yeah, because it's so late in the season that this happened.
I would not be like shocked if that were the case. But yeah, he's definitely out this season if he did indeed. Who said that?
That was according to Bleacher Report, and
okay.
Apparently, I haven't heard, but he was quite emotional during the press conference. So not looking. Yahoo Sports is also confirming, saying season injury. So.
And, of course, Richard Sherman adds to the list of the all-time great injured team. Richard Sherman, J.J. Watt, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Odell Beckham, Carson Palmer, Julian Edelman, Andrew Luck, and more.
Yeah.
What else we got? All right. True or false? The Seahawks win the NFC West and go to the playoffs at 11-5. I don't know if they're going to win the NFC West at this point. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, I can't say anything because I haven't. I mean, I'm just reading news about what they're saying about Sherman. I don't. Man, like that's a huge loss. Let's not. I mean, yeah, I'm a homer. Like, I'm a Seahawks fan, but that's a huge loss, right? Like,
okay, so, I'm gonna go through your schedule and see if I'll give you wins losses here. Let's see. Okay, so you play Atlanta at home. That should be a win. Okay?
That's a win.
Even if you don't have Sherman, that should be a win. Okay, 49ers in San Fran. That should be a win.
Right. So
Eagles.
So at this point, we're 8-3.
Eagles, I would say, is a loss. Okay, but I don't. You never know. But I would say it's a loss. You play in Jacksonville. That's a tough. That could go either way.
Well, Skip Bayless thinks that the Eagles are going to lose 7 of their last 9 games.
That is true. So if you trust Skip, they play in Jacksonville. I would honestly say that I'm leaning towards Jacksonville that game, but I think it would be really, really close. The Rams.
Play is tough here, but I think
the Rams. It's in Seattle, but you already beat them once, and they usually beat you. So I don't really know. Okay. So I think you're gonna lose. I think you're gonna lose 3 of those 4 games, Kev. Personally, I think you're gonna win one of those games and lose. Like you might be the Jags, you might be the Rams, or you might be the Cowboys. If you escape 2-2 out of that, then I think you'll make the playoffs.
Yep.
Because then you'll have 5 losses. If you have 3 losses, then you'll be 10-6 and you'll be fighting for the spot. You might still make the playoffs, but you'll be fighting for the spot. So the Eagles, Jaguars, Rams, Cowboys schedule. Of course, Cowboys will be getting Zeke back and everything, so that will be interesting. But if you lose 3 of those games, you might not make it, but you never know. You're still got a chance. If you win 2 of those games, I'd say you're safely in.
Yeah.
And then you play the Cardinals at the end of the season, which you should win that game.
Yeah. So okay, yeah, we've got the shot of if we can get into double digits,
Yeah, if you could you should safely get into double digits. I would assume, unless something crazy happens.
But let me throw a different scenario out. I'm just going to throw this out because we're thinking.
Okay.
It's horrible in some ways if we miss the playoffs because we haven't missed a long time. But how bad is it really?
Why?
Well, let's look at it this way.
Michael confirms breaking news: Sherman is done for the season.
Yeah. If we miss, we can build some draft.
Bodo, that's exactly what I'm saying. He says, wait a minute. Are you saying, Mitch, that Adam is being like you and crapping on Peeps teams even when they win? Yep.
Yeah, if we miss, I'm not going to be happy, but at the same time, it could be a good thing in terms of building for next season. There could be some positive out of that as well. But I'm still faithfully believing that we can hang in there. It's a huge loss. Let's not sugarcoat this, right? Like he's a difference maker. Like him or not, he's a difference maker.
The coach says Cards are terrible. Hawks are overrated. They're 4th or 5th in the NFC.
Well, that's playoffs, though, right?
Yeah, that's playoffs. Okay, and let's end the video on this.
Well, let's
end the video on this. I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think the Seahawks team can make the Super Bowl?
Well, as of right now, it's going to be really hard because we'll have to win the NFC West to get a home field. It would be better to get a bye. I'm going to be intrigued to see if the Eagles and the Saints fade at some point. Will they fade? They're both hot.
Well, I'm guessing the Eagles will lose more than one game, but that's just me.
What do you think their record's going to be in the second half?
They'll probably finish 13-3.
Okay, so 6-2 in the second half. Okay. And what about the Saints?
The Saints, I would have to look at their schedule. But let's say 12-4, 11-5. 11-5.
Okay.
But they'll win their division.
Okay, so if they're 11-5, the Seahawks, if they can get to 11-ish, have a chance to get a first round bye, which I think gives them a better shot at the Super Bowl. It's going to be tough because we'll have to go to Philly. I think a lot of this is going to depend, how does that game in Philly turn out when they come here? Because if we can win that, that will help.
You and AC should get tickets for that.
Yeah, it'd be epic. I mean, I don't know if I want to come. I don't know if I would want to cuddle or coddle, feel pat AC once he loses, but you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kidding. But
you're kidding about the not wanting to part. That's what
yeah. But I mean, it's gonna really depend. I just because I still think even without Richard Sherman, we're still in the myriad. But also I look at what's happened to the Packers and the loss of Rodgers. This team is completely. I don't see the Seahawks collapsing though. I really don't. I don't see them collapsing. I would put Super Bowl at 25%. And it's really going to depend a lot on what happens.
So what are your odds? Like 50% Eagles, 20, like 40%?
I would say
Eagles.
I'll say this: I am intrigued of how the Saints will play the Eagles if they match up in the NFC Championship game. I'm intrigued. I think the Saints have.
So am I. I think that's the most difficult matchup for the Eagles, personally.
Yeah. I think that's the team that if I was an Eagles fan, my eye would be watching that New Orleans Saints team because that's the team I would want to be avoiding.
All right. On that note, we'll leave you there. Seahawks, Cardinals. Seahawks get another victory. They advance to 6-3. Tough news.
Do you want to plug to the other channel?
Tough news with Richard Sherman being out. Yes, we will. Right now. In the description, I've added it in the description. As you'll see, I have changed the description a little bit. I've changed the channel art as well, if you've noticed. Again, announcing that this channel will be an NFL channel. This channel will do NFL 24/7. This channel will be NFL news, NFL discussions, NFL debates, recaps like this, much more NFL content, but only exclusively NFL content. So if you are a fan of our NHL content specifically, because we are making another channel for NHL content that will be run primarily by Fitty Trent and also a new member, John. You can subscribe. Go to the description. In the description, there is a link right underneath. It says subscribe to our NHL channel and follow them on Twitter. So there's a link. Go there, subscribe to the channel. There'll be NHL videos up as soon as probably tomorrow or the next day. We're going to start kicking that channel off and getting our NHL fan base over there. We want to make it so that we still want to create this network, sports network and sports community idea with the Bottom Line View. We just feel like it's a better direction if we separate them right now and we focus more on the NFL because that's what we love to do the most. And then we take the other things that we're doing like the NHL and possibly wrestling or possibly NBA in the future to different channels. But right now it's just NFL for this channel. And then the other channel is going to be NHL with Fitty Trent and the other guys. And I'll be on it when the NFL season's over and all that stuff. So, and Kev will be on it. So go there, subscribe to that channel, support the Bottom Line View in more ways than one. Subscribe to this channel, subscribe to that channel. Follow us on Twitter. All the links that you need to know are in the description. So go there, check it out, like the video, subscribe. Kev, you got anything to say?
Yeah, it may be an adjustment for everyone, but I think it's going to be a good adjustment. And I'll be helping Trent over in the NHL as well as helping Mitch here in NFL. And I have my own stuff. So, I don't need to sleep, really. There's no point in that anyway. So, no, I'm kidding. But we'll get some things going there. So if you're an NHL fan, look out for that. There's not a lot of outstanding quality NHL. Did I say that? There's a new market to attack with the NHL that I think that we will be able to. Did I say that better?
Yeah, it was okay.
But no, it's
you maybe hurt some people's feelings, but
well, there's a difference between the American market and the Canadian market in terms of YouTube channels, and I don't think the Canadian media world, other than you, there's a lot of us out there, but there's not that market that has been it's not blowing up yet. That's my observation. So there's
all right, guys.
Anyway, I'm rambling. It's time for us to go to bed.
Thank you for joining us here. Go subscribe to that channel. We'd really appreciate it. Honestly, go support our boy Fitty Trent. He works hard. He's a great guy. Go support him. And we'll be on there too. So if you don't want to subscribe because Mitch won't be on there, I will be on there. Just not right away. But go subscribe there. And look forward to a lot of NFL content. It's Mitch, Kev. Hope you enjoyed. Seahawks win it. Peace out.